is going on, Unfiltered Conversations family? I am your host, Laila Simone, and I'm so glad to have you here for episode 3 of Unfiltered Conversations. Gotcha, bitch, is the name of this episode. And I know that the title is like, what? But we're going to get into that very, very soon. So welcome again. Like I said, I am your host, Laila Simone, and welcome to Unfiltered Conversations podcast. We only do real talk here, so don't be offended by anything that is said on this podcast. So just join us and vibe. And today, we're going to be discussing a few things, the LA ICE raids that have been happening in my city, what has been going on with Donald Trump, and what has been going on with the summer watches on Netflix. We have Forever and Straws to talk about, guys. I love these two new releases, and I want to get into that with you guys. So let's get into it. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, know that there is also a YouTube link that you can now watch the podcast as well. So make sure that you tap in with me on Instagram and TikTok as well for further updates at Laila Simone, 2 E's and an underscore. And let's get into it. So let's talk about it. The LA raids. I don't even have any words for this one. I really don't. Because I feel like we keep going over the I told you so situation. And at this point, I know Kamala is just looking and picking at her nails like, sucking her teeth like, that's too bad. Because, y'all, we keep doing this mess to ourselves. Like, this has happened before in terms of him wanting to take all the control and then forcing himself on us. This has already happened before, so I'm not understanding why we're so surprised by what is going on. So let's get into what exactly is happening according to CBS News. They wrote an article about, let's say, 5 days ago, stating that 700 Marines arrived in the Los Angeles area amid ICE protests, and Governor Newsom files a suit to block the deployment. So let's talk about it real quick, because first and foremost, we already had serious, brutal interaction going on with the police, and then from there, the ICE raids and setups occurred. And then last but not least, then we had to turn around and deal with whatever was going on with the Marines being deployed. Like, we just kept getting worse. Like, I don't understand how we managed to do this. But according to the article, again, it says about 700 active duty Marines have arrived in the Los Angeles area to join National Guard troops, where they were sent to the city to respond to protests over federal immigration enforcement. A defense official said that Tuesday morning, as California official Gavin Newsom asked for a federal court to block the deployment of troops onto city streets. So the Marines approximately had about 2,100 members of the California National Guard who are on the location of the greater Los Angeles area, operating in Los Angeles, Paramount, and Compton. And I told you guys in the last episode that this is where I heard it was going down. And when I was coming back from when I was eating with my friends, I had started going down in the freeway, like during the little pockets of the freeway. It was just police officers everywhere. And then they said a top Pentagon official testified to Congress that the estimated cost of deploying the National Guard and the Marines is roughly about $134 million. So not only did we release these officials out to stop the violence that was going on at these protests, but also it costed us $134 million to send these people out here to do this. So the thing is that this situation has unfolded in so many different layers in the span of a week, and I really wanted to talk about what was going on, because last episode we talked about how it seemed like LA Times was angling the story to make it seem like the protesters were inflicting the violence, that there was no violence coming from any of the officials that were sent out there at all. They were never ever inducing any type of violence onto any civilians. And that's not true. That is not true. From all of the different clips that I have seen, yes, I did see some civilians throwing rocks. I'ma eat that. They definitely did throw the rocks, but you have to think about why the rocks were thrown. You guys know about me and my psychology edge. That is gonna be me all up and through every single conversation that we have. So if you get tired of me breaking down stuff and thinking about the whys in terms of why people do things, you might as well just hop off the pod. But what I'm saying is these people were not just throwing rocks because they wanted to throw rocks at the cops. They were protesting. You guys showed up, inflicted violence. So in return, you gonna get you some. We are not birds. We're not scary. I'm not Hispanic. You know, I'm not out there protesting per se, but I'm sure that the Hispanic people are not about to let y'all just show up and push them out the place, and it's just gonna be smooth sailing. And then not to mention that people are being taken against the Constitution. You guys are setting up in front of Home Depots, in front of immigration offices and things like that, where people are getting their paperwork straight and setting them up to get picked up. The purpose of the people being picked up, I thought, was to slow down the violence in terms of what was going on with the protesting, to clean the streets of the immigrants who are causing criminal acts and causing our country to worsen in a sense. I thought that's what it was for. Not to pick up innocent people who are trying to do the right thing the right way. Not to separate mothers and fathers away from their children and have to figure out what they're going to do and how they're going to care for their children moving forward, and they're locked up and put away and don't necessarily know when or how they're going to get their families back in order. It makes no sense. And this brings me over to the conversation of what we've already seen before. This is not the first time that Donald Trump has been in office. And I told y'all that I'm not going to ever come on here and talk to y'all about something I don't know. I'm always going to have a source. I'm always going to have some point of reference as to why I'm saying what I'm saying. And for those who are watching on YouTube, I'm looking down because my laptop is on my lap. But either way, Donald Trump has had a term before. And during that term, he was impeached. So we've already seen this before. So his first impeachment was due to an abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. Excuse me. And he was impeached December 18, 2019. So in 2025, what did we learn? Because it looks like this is the same thing. Abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. So it's the same thing. He's doing the exact same thing. And I'm very big on, if they do it once, they're gonna do it again. Straight up. Obviously people can change, things can change, you can help people grow and develop, but when it comes down to some people having a lack of morals and values, you're gonna have an issue. And he is a criminal as well. So when you talk about him already being here, already been labeled and convicted, what more do you need to know that he will pull something out from under the rug? And that is why this episode is titled Gotcha Bitch, because I'm telling you, this man got y'all in every way, step, shape, and form. He wrote all of this mess out in 2024 on paper, and I read it to you June 2024 around this time. I did. So here we are a year later talking about it again, and now the Marines is on the street, and apparently we blew $134 million to do it. And I think obviously there's other areas where they're having ICE raids as well, but I'm talking about my area in particular because the Hispanic culture is very prevalent where I live, and they do so much. And people were making jokes like on TikTok and on the internet, and I'm sorry, I laughed at a few, I'm gonna be honest, but I love my corn, I love my elote, I love my fruit, I love all that stuff. I'm sorry. But they were like, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? But on a more serious note, when you think about blue collar workers and the people that are really doing all of the farm work and the crop sharing and things like that, that's not us. That's not us. That's them. So all of this stuff that we're doing and pulling against each different race and all these different contributors and resources that we have for the U.S., we're gonna be in a very messed up predicament considering the fact that this man has only been here for 6 months. You gonna start beef with every resource that we have available, and we are gonna be stuck with nothing. That BS meat that y'all eating, that lack of and shortage of everything that we have ever thought of in the grocery store is about to happen because we not finna have no workers. AI cannot do anything about these farms. AI can't do nothing about this work that we need to do in terms of construction and things like that. Like, AI cannot do everything. It can give you the answers, but we need people to get there and do the jobs. And 9 times out of 10, the people who are going to do that is the working class. And the working class is black people, Mexican people, certain Asian people. So how many more times are we gonna keep going through each race, pissing everybody off to the point where we don't have anything? And then there's the other angle, which is the blacks are like, y'all want us to go out here and fight for y'all, but when Black Lives Matter was out here thugging it out, we was thugging out here and the whites was with us. We didn't see the Mexicans. And I'm not trying to be racist or be messed up or anything, y'all. But like I said, real talk only, not to offend nobody. This is what I'm seeing, this is what I'm hearing, and this is what I'm living, okay? But I get it. Like, I personally was watching the news and was seeing black people get arrested while they were out there being, protesting and doing the things that they do. Everybody knows that black people ride with Mexicans, especially in California, hands down. Whether y'all want to admit it or not, we have formed some sort of community together. And I do understand why you guys are like, why y'all not coming out here? But you got to understand what's at risk. You guys are out there protesting for your rights, which is to be here and not be picked up whether you're a citizen or not. Understood. But for us, if we get out here and protest with y'all, sometimes we get killed doing absolutely nothing. So why on God's green earth would I step outside to protest with you and it's a 50-50 that I'm gonna go home and be cool and not have some sort of criminal record or be dead, when I'm not the one being hunted out for at this moment? We have every race gets attacked in the US in some way, shape, or form. And this is not our fight this time. And y'all want help. And we want to be there for y'all. But we don't want to die. Straight up. That's it. Don't have nothing to do with nothing else. Don't make it personal. We don't want to die. Straight up. That's it. They have been doing this crap to us for years. 4 years. And y'all kept your heads down and worked. So we are keeping our heads down and working right now. I'm sorry. I'm using my platform. I'm speaking on, obviously, I don't agree with none of this. But I'm not finna stand outside and go throw rocks and take me a rubber pellet to the side. Ooh, sorry, y'all. And give me a rubber pellet to the side. It's just not, it's not worth it. I'm sorry. This is terrible. Nobody agrees with this, I'm sure. But no. And then again, let's break down what is actually going on here. Because like I said, when I looked on the news, police everywhere. Every form of police enforcement outside, marching in groups, parading around, trying to scare people into believing that they need to stay in their houses. Nobody should be outside. I'm driving around LA. I don't see no Hispanic people doing nothing. And the ones that are there, they're minding their business and getting on. They're not out here sitting around. No, not waiting for nothing. So I want to break down psychologically what is exactly happening. Because let's talk about the psychology of fear and manipulation. So you need to understand what fear-based manipulation is. Fear-based manipulation involves a person's fear to influence their thoughts and actions. The manipulator may amplify existing fears, introducing new or terrifying scenarios. This technique is effective because it exploits one of the most fundamental human emotions, making the victim's response often and immediate. So basically what I'm saying to you is that fear-based manipulation is a tool. Basically, I'm going to use your fear to control how you think and what you do. I'm going to scare you into doing this. I'm going to scare you into moving your body this way. I'm going to scare you into not doing this. And it's a trick. And this can happen in the workplace. This can happen in relationships. And it can happen in marketing. And technically what is going on with social media and what's going on in the news, this is a form of marketing at the end of the day. So in marketing, advertisers often use fear-based tactics to sell products, such as suggesting things without a particular item in place. So one might face social embarrassment or health issues, and this is a kind of manipulation that plays on fears of exclusion or illness to motivate purchases. Why did I read this? So I feel like there was a conversation that was brought up and they were like, oh my God, the Hispanic people, y'all voted him in. I genuinely don't think that they thought this was going to happen to them. I'm not even trying to be funny, but we were the one. Trump for a long time was targeting the black people only for the longest time. And when it's not you don't think about it. It's just that simple. So for the very few that did vote for him, I do think that it was because of the fact that there were certain problems and issues that Trump was starting that did not affect them directly, so they did not think about being proactive at the time. Like, that's really what I think. Because it's just like, some people are like, I can't believe y'all let this happen. They didn't think this was gonna happen. Believe me, if they did, I don't think they would have went this far with it. And why does this work, right? So the effectiveness of fear and manipulation lies in its ability to bypass rational thinking. So when you're afraid, people tend to focus on short-term solutions that alleviate the fear rather than the long-term consequences of their actions. This tunnel vision makes it easier for manipulators to steer victims in the desired direction. Donald Trump has had people storm the Capitol. How have we managed to allow this to happen? Because of how he scares people into thinking that they must do something. And if they don't do anything, that they must be lesser than, or they must not be in this group of higher thinking. That is not true. You fell for the game. Gotcha, bitch. Is what I'm trying to tell you. So, how do you recognize this, right? Recognizing fear-based manipulation involves a keen awareness of one's emotions and the context to which they arrive. So if you notice a sudden spike in anxiety or fear following specific interactions, it may be time for you to evaluate the dynamics at play. So when you start feeling like, oh man, I gotta do something about this, why? Who is making you feel like you have to move right now? What just made you feel like you gotta get up and do something about this at this moment? Is it because you're scared of the outcome? Is it because someone came to you and nudged you and made you feel like you had to do this? If you do not do something about this right now, what is about to happen to you that made you feel like you have to do this right now? What is it? And these are the things you got to ask yourself when you're doing certain things to catch yourself from making further mistakes or sometimes making blind moves. Because nobody wants to be making no blind moves. And then I found this word that can describe what is going on, and I think it's fear mongering, if I'm saying this correctly, which is a tactic where an individual or entity uses fear to sway people. So that's all, essentially, that's what's going on. A lot of times I think we asked in the beginning, like, what are you actually coming back in office to do? And he hit y'all with we have concepts of a plan, but I'm telling you, he was not coming in here to do anything beneficial. If anything, he was coming in with his own set of steps and things that he had lined up already. He had his own agenda. Step one, what y'all don't understand is he got in office so he didn't have to deal with these crimes. So he didn't have to do no time. So he didn't have to lose no money. Well, he definitely lost some money regardless to get this handled. But he got over. From day one, he got over. So now here we are. So sometimes when people are gripped by fear, rational and higher cognitive capacities are now shut down. So people are like, what are you thinking? Why did you do this? Why did you make that decision? He did this and this and you still chose this. Because they were scared. People don't understand that, like, the direction of society, when you're not at the level to control what is going on in office, or you feel like you don't necessarily have the same rights as the next person, or you don't have the knowledge to participate in politics, you may not know what to do. And that is where I think Trump finds his audience. He picks the people, or finds the people that don't necessarily understand the full glimpse of what it is to be a citizen and what rights you do have and what the laws and constitution say on paper that have been changed over the years but still stand in certain ways to where it can work to your benefit if you're doing it correctly. And I was talking about this in my financial literacy class with my aunt the other day, that if you don't know the language, you're not going to be able to talk the talk. So a lot of the stuff that people are doing or not doing is probably because they don't know how to talk the talk. It's not because they don't want to. They don't know how. A lot of times, if you don't pay attention, they're taking a lot of stuff out of school on purpose to make sure we don't know how to do these things, to make sure that we're not aware that we're able to do certain things, to make us slower, to dumb us down and break us down. He was trying to get rid of the Department of Education. He wants you to be stupid. He wants you to not understand what is going on. He wants you to soak up the BS and laugh. This is not funny. None of this is funny. And it was like, every time it started with y'all just don't want him in because he's trying to get rid of the birth control. It was bigger than the birth control, eh? It was bigger than the birth control, eh? I told y'all. But we're going to move on from there. We're going to lighten up the load and wrap it on up. So let's talk about what I've been doing while all this has been going down. While all this has been going down, I've been in my house watching Netflix. Like I said, not getting involved. I have work in the morning. I don't have time to be playing around with y'all. I like my life. So what I decided to do was I was going to watch Straws by Tyler Perry. And a lot of people always have mixed reviews when it comes down to Tyler Perry films, because I feel like they don't like the way that Tyler Perry depicts black stories sometimes. And I feel like he does a great job of telling the story itself. And you gotta understand that his audience is black people. So more often than not, yes, black people are going to be the ones looking like they're struggling right here. But again, this is a black producer creating black films. And most times, though they're very dramatic, we know someone that has acted as if one of these characters that we're watching on the screen. So this isn't some news. Like, this is like, we've seen this before. So for Straw, the cast was so fire. Tiana Taylor, Taraji P. Henson, Sherry Shepherd, Ashley Versher, Rockman Dunbar. Whole lot of greatness in this film, and I loved it. And it was very dramatic, and Taraji did her thing per usual. But I didn't like the end. The end literally left me sitting there squinting my eyes mad, like, why did I even cut this on? I'm not gonna talk too much about the film itself, but I do think it was a great film, and I do just want to put it out there that I don't necessarily think Tyler Perry is trying to ruin the black image, but I do think that he's telling black stories, and we have black actors, and we're the black audience, so we're just tired of seeing the blackness. I really think that's what it is, because I don't think, because we loved Medea, we did, in all 18 of the movies, we did. So come on, y'all. And then last but not least, y'all, we have Forever. That one hit home. And not only because it was shot at home, but it was an amazing series. Like, and they're coming out with a season 2 now, so I'm super lit about that, because I felt like it was a depiction of what it is to kind of like go through that college like transition, and especially like because it was based in LA, I definitely felt what that felt like, because in this cast we have Levy Simone, Michael Cooper Jr., Carrie Pittman, Niles Fitch, Wood Harris, a lot of great actors again, and they're telling this story of this young lady that is basically getting ready to go to college, and she's still kind of trying to figure out what she had going on with her high school flings. And I definitely kind of had that same situation going on when I was going to school, and what it is to be dating at that time too, at that age. It's an awkward time. It's very strange. You old enough, but you're not grown. It's real strange, and I really did love the film. So y'all have to go check out Forever and watch Straws when y'all have free time, because it's really amazing. But I am coming up on the end of my time, and I'm super glad that you guys tapped in for episode 3 called Gotcha. Again, I am your host, Laila Simone, and thank you for tuning into Unfiltered Conversations, where we cover mental wealth, culture, and music. This was an amazing conversation, and I hope it reached you on Amazon. What? On Amazon? Why am I trying to talk about Amazon? Sorry, y'all. On Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube. That is where you can find Unfiltered Conversations. And I need you to make sure that you tune again next week. And again, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Today I'm recording on Sunday. You guys will not be getting this until Wednesday, but I am so glad to let you know that it is Father's Day, and we need to acknowledge our dads out here. We love you guys. Thank you for showing up and being the rocks in our family. Again, this is episode 3. Gotcha, B word. Follow me at Laila Simone on TikTok and Instagram, 2 E's and an underscore. And I'll see you for episode 4 Unfiltered Conversations. I'll see you next week. Bye, UC family. And I'm glad to have you back this week to ask you a quick question. Are you my ball? You trying to like make it clear to the whoever it is around in the section, like, yeah, this is me. So tired of these terms, because fine. He like, what's up? And you like, I'm not on that. And he like, oh, I've never seen you again. You like, whoa. DDG and Halle have been hitting the internet crazy lately. According to Los Angeles Times, DDG has made serious allegations about Halle Bailey recently, and he attempted to request a restraining order on Halle Bailey, but the purpose of this was to prevent her from taking their son Halo out the country. However, she requested a restraining order against him around mid-May. According, like I said, to the Los Angeles Times, while following an argument in 2022, Bailey sent texts claiming that she had a knife and implying she would harm herself if he didn't return, the filing says.